At a pivotal moment when the U.S. government is coming to grips with the fact that the country may not be truly prepared for or be able to make sound choices about a complicated and increasingly intimidating future, we need to call upon one of the nation's most important assets, its artists.
The study of literature is incredibly important, not just to predict the future, but I would argue even more importantly, to understand other cultures, to connect with them, and in that sense, actually prevent conflict.
Literature and art are the necessary intellectual playgrounds of statesmen. And it turns out that there's a reason that we gravitate towards creative works. Only literature gives us the space to think about things laterally without any particular logic flow imposed.
This stuff is really dangerous and really powerful. We need to be extremely cautious. But now we are at the cusp of this Promethean ability to write our own future, to remake our own genome.
I was entirely ignorant of the fact that there had been an all-women team recruited to go on Ranger and SEAL missions in 2011, while the combat ban remained very much in place. And who fights our wars and why?
With current laser technology, it's pretty much impossible to burn through an ICBM. So your awesome missile satellites that you see in fiction so much, anti-missile laser satellites, they won't work. In my story, there's magnetohydrodynamic weapons, which fire jets of molten liquid at quite possibly relativistic speeds.
And people are being educated without realizing it. And to me, I think that's the interesting challenge, is to tell fascinating stories, yet have people walk away from them being smarter and being more aware of the world that they live in.
I think there are going to be strikes on this country from within. It may be actual ISIS loyalists who are in the country right now who do it. I see these are the kind of threats that could really destabilize the country.
As you're moving to this polycentric world in which we are going to be the minority. Most of the internet users are not going to be Americans, they're not going to be using English, and they're not necessarily sharing our values.
At their best, science fiction stories explore the art of the possible, illuminate problems we might otherwise overlook, and entertain us at the same time. Martin Dempsey.
The best solution is to just stop having the wars, and how do we get to that point? That is the fundamental part of the conversation.